Customer reviews are the most valuable sources of feedback for any Amazon seller, and they can also play a crucial role in improving your product listings. In this video, you will learn 4 ways to improve your Amazon product conversion rates by simply utilizing customer reviews. Moreover, we also will show you how to use different ZonGuru tools to make this process easier. If you want to try ZonGuru tools for yourself, check the link below in the description as well as special offer. And now let's jump to the video.
Hi, John. Really excited to have you back here on OrangeClick channel today to talk about how Amazon sellers could use customer insights to maximize their conversions. So before we start, well, many of our viewers might already know you from the past videos we have recorded, but we always have also new viewers. So let's first start with your introduction. And also, can you give us a short overview how ZonGuru helps Amazon sellers?
Hey, Lizette, good to be back with you. And I love what OrangeClick does. You guys do a great job in the space. And funny enough, actually, I got a bunch of customers on the other day, and all of them were like, oh yeah, I love OrangeClick and the videos, and they're all in there watching it. So great what you guys are doing. But yeah, today we're going to talk about maximizing conversions, which is a really important piece of your Amazon business and aligning with the Amazon algorithm. But for those who don't know me, I'm John Tilley, the co-founder of ZonGuru. Really, we're an operational tool set for Amazon sellers and agencies to really help you scale your Amazon storefront. So we have about 18 different tools, mostly focused, our flagship products are focused around keyword research and listing optimization, which includes the first ever integration with ChatGPT, which you can find inside of ZonGuru. So our listing optimization tool is integrated with ChatGPT. But outside of that, we have research tools, review automation, and a few other tools that you can jump in and use. We have a very strong seller DNA, a lot of sellers on our team, and we really focus on what matters most to you as a business owner. And our tools focus on the most impactful things that can move the needle for your business. North America, Europe, Australia, and India are the markets that we're connected in. So plenty for us to talk about today for sure.
Awesome. Sounds really good. And I know your tool is very helpful. It's very visual. It's very easy to use. So definitely helps Amazon sellers to save some time and really understand where they should put more their focus on to scale their business. So for today's topic, I know you prepared some slides for us as well to kind of give us more details and better share your knowledge. So let's go ahead and see what you prepared for us today.
All right. So today we're going to talk about 4 ways to maximize conversions using customer insights. And, I think this is a very important piece for us as sellers to think about, right? And there's always the saying, right, that sometimes we're too close to our business. We're too in our business. We don't see the forest from the trees, right? So this idea of you as a brand owner or an agency or a business owner, maybe not listening to your customers too closely and missing out on some of the key insights that really matter most to customers. So anything that you can do as an exercise to get more customer input on what really they care about, their emotional connection. What do they understand from the product and what do they love about the product? But importantly, in addition to that, what is the emotional connection that they have to the product? The more insights you can get on that, the better you can adjust either your product or the easiest things is obviously your listing to connect better with your customer, give them what they want, and therefore improve your conversion rates. And everyone should know in the space that the Amazon algorithm really, does account for conversion rates in the algorithm. And the better your conversion rate is than your competitors, the more traffic you're going to get. So not only will you get more sales from the conversion, but you'll start to get more traffic from Amazon, which can increase your business extensively. And we've seen this, a couple of these insights that we've done here, we put in place, and you can see 3 to 4% increase in conversion right off the get-go. So it's an absolutely critical piece to go ahead and do these pieces in your business. We talked about ZonGuru, so we won't touch on this, but again, we do have ChatGPT integrated, and this helps also on the conversion rate as well, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But here's a few ideas that you can implement right now to help you with your business. Now, I'm speaking to those sellers that are actually selling on Amazon already, and you're looking to improve your conversion rates. those customers that are landing on your page, how do you get them to convert in a better way? The first idea I have, and this is, this is not applicable. We don't have this software tool inside of our software. This is just really kind of a trick or a process that is really helps with conversion rate. We've done it for a lot of customers, and we've seen a massive improvement on that overall conversion rate. And the idea here is to record using a video recording, a screen sharing software recording to record the buyer journey. And what I mean by that is there's a number of different softwares out there. An easy one to use is Loom. There's you can sign up for free, or there are free alternatives out there. But it's a Chrome extension that records your screen sharing capacity, and if someone's talking, you'll hear them as well. And you can use it for anything, right? So the idea here is to approach 5 or 6 of your core target audiences. So, you as a seller, you'll probably have within your own network a few sellers, and you don't need many of these. But essentially what you want to do is approach someone and say, hey, you are our core audience. I want you to go onto Amazon, and I want you to look for a product in this category, obviously your category, and just record the whole process of how you go through this, and actually speak out loud about the questions you're asking yourself in terms of purchasing this. And importantly, go ahead and purchase the product. I'll refund you on the back end, but I want you to walk through the whole process, record it, and then send me the video afterwards. And you'll be amazed at the kind of insights that you will get from 3 or 4 of those recordings with your actual customer audience. It's when you actually get someone to look at all the competitor listings and get into the detail of what matters to them to get them to actually buy it, you'll be surprised by what you find. So, for example, we did this with a customer that actually sold a pull-up bar in on Amazon, which is an extremely competitive category. And what came out of that session was there was a dimension missing between some of the screw holes that go into the wall, which was important to owners because understanding what that distance was and how you can make sure you get into the stud in the wall in the US was a key thing. And that change was made on a listing, and most of the listings didn't have that dimension. And this particular customer's conversion rate went up over 3% just by making that change, right? Never mind the halo effect and the impact that it had in terms of volume, but it makes a significant difference. So, the idea here is speak to some customers, get them to download Loom, which is a free service, a free software. There's a free package. Record that buyer journey, the questions they ask themselves to talk loud to that, so you can actually hear what they're saying, and then implement those insights into your listing. So it's a pretty manual process, but you only need about 4 of those. And I guarantee if you do this, you will see things that you haven't seen before, right? So it's a pretty critical thing to do. I would recommend anybody doing this on their business.
That's such an interesting idea. It's kind of like easy to do, as you said. You just only need a couple of that kind of like target personas or possible buyers of the products. But I was just listening to you. I was like, wow, I have never thought about it, but it's such a cool idea.
Yeah, no, it's a very cool one. And I'll show you just when we look at we'll look at a product category on Amazon. You'll see people are missing out on some of these opportunities. So it's even in such a sophisticated market, or a competitive market, there's room to improve for sure. Just looking at a page straight up. So that's number one. Number two, relatively well-known one, but understanding and analyzing customers' questions and answers. There's a section on Amazon where customers can ask questions. Obviously, as a seller, you're gonna see those, but some sellers still today, we speak to them and they're like, yeah, we have a team that answers them. But I'm like, when did you actually last look at what those questions said, or when did you get a team to analyze and look at the answers that are important there? And on top of that, there are ways to ensure that you can seed the important questions and the ones that really help with conversion to the top, right? And again, if there are important questions that you want to make sure that are in there, speaking to a few friends and families and getting some questions up there would be great. So there's plenty of ways to do that, but this is a piece that we know customers look at. That in terms of a buyer journey, they're going to look at images, they're going to look at overlays, they're going to look at dimensions. They'll kind of look high level at review, to ensure that you have a good review score. But they will also look at these for sure before they actually buy it. So, have a look at this. And importantly, whatever you see here, if your listing is missing it, make sure you include that in your listing, right? Because this is stuff that clearly the customer hasn't picked up from reading your listing. So, at a constant level, going back and looking at these and including it in your image overlays specifically, or your benefit bullets, is a critical piece. All right. And don't just look at your product, look at a few others, right? And then obviously customer reviews. Amazon has moved towards this area of, trying to summarize sentiment on reviews. They do it at the product level, and understanding. You can see at this review count, you can see this is for a golf cooler bag, which I'm going to show in a second, but, understanding what are the reviews mentioned, and then diving into that is important. But obviously analysis of reviews is going to help you to understand, where are products strong, where they're weak, on your product, but also your competitors, and then pulling out those sentiments and using it either to product differentiate or include in your benefits to call out what matters most to customers, right? So, this is a process that's been around for a while, but it takes a lot of time to go through reviews and try and understand what that sentiment is. So the other way to do that is using one of our tools, which is actually a little bit of a best kept secret. It's not as well known in our feature set, but it's called the love-hate tool. And it does exactly that. It's a word cloud assimilation around all of the sentiments that's positive from customers about what they love around a product category. And then we do the same for, what they hate about a category, or what are they noticing in terms of bad reviews, and what needs to be improved in that category. Now, importantly, what we do is we do it across the entire category. So it's not just about one product. We take, there's an intelligence that really goes out and says, hey, if we're talking about golf cooler bags, let's pull in every single review in that category, and then let's word cloud assimilate that for positive and negative sentiment. So, and then we show you how you can dive deep, and I'll show you in a second. But, that's a really easy, fast way to analyze all of the reviews and then pull that together, and pull out the most important pieces and putting that into your listing. And another little trick on that is when you see what the common themes around what people really care about, make sure you take that and use it in your sponsored brand titles, because those are the things that really attract your users and what they're looking for. So there's a really easy way to use that in sponsored ads as well, which is a trick that not everyone uses. And then finally, the fourth one on here, outside of that is to use. You can use it in our tool, which is the AI generated listing. So we were the first in the space to integrate ChatGPT, into listing creation. So the high level benefit to users is that you can get a well optimized, well written listing in literally under a minute that can compete with the best listings on page one. And that's a view in our tool, which is really interesting, which is, we give the context of being able to show you how well your listing is scores, but importantly, how does that compare to the main competitors? And what we see from all of the testing and what we can see in the space is that the AI generated listing typically has around a 30% better optimized score than competitor listings. So right in a few minutes, you get an amazing listing that you can then finesse, bring your expertise and your insights to improve, like your customer insights. But the point here is that we actually prompt the AI with, the keyword intelligence is one of the most critical pieces for sure. But outside of that, we do pull in customer sentiments where we have it from our love-hate tool, and prompt the AI with that as well. So it's starting to recognize, or we're prompting it at least to let it understand what are the important things to pull out in the bullets, based on customer insights. So, outside of all of those things, the AI will actually help you do that right off the bat, and you get that under a minute. So, that's an incredible way to get in and actually get a baseline of an amazing listing that you can finesse. Great. Any other thoughts on that, Lizette?
I was just thinking how it was to craft their listings 7 years ago when I first started working in the Amazon space, and listening to you now, you can get like under 1 minute, you can get quite optimized product copywriting. It's amazing. Like what kind of tools we have today in our hands. Just we need to kind of somehow put that into our workflows and kind of make sure that we use all the data points and everything we have that makes actually the lives of the sellers much easier.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when you look back, what listings were 7 years ago, it's not comparable, right? And I think what this means in today's world is that something that took you a few hours to analyze reviews, that's done immediately now. What took you a few hours to write a listing from scratch can be done immediately. And the point of those things is that it helps us in our day-to-day of running our Amazon businesses, where we don't have to focus on, those long administrative tasks that it takes to get the insights. That can be helped with technology. But that doesn't mean that it's a replacement for us as our area of expertise and what we can bring to those listings. It just means that, the basics have been done, and then we should apply our expertise, our customer insights. What did we learn from those Loom video recordings that we can, add as a finessing point to the listing. So it's getting us to focus on creativity and expertise rather than, constructing a listing from scratch. So it's a massive game changer. But, what I would encourage sellers to do is not skip going back and actually finessing it further, because that's what you should be doing, is bringing that final 2% to your listing that's going to make it even better and get that conversion rate up. So, it's a critical piece. And so what we're seeing, this is just our AI generated tool that I'm showing now, but the kind of things that we prompted with, you can get mood, language, product descriptions, include keywords, remove keywords. These are all the kind of things you can prompt an AI with, which is amazing nowadays, right? So it helps to ensure that the listing is as relevant as possible, and again, it will pull in some of that customer insights and sentiment, which is great. But the kind of results that we're getting is, obviously on the listing, I said about a 36% improvement in the overall optimization score for listings, right? So that's number one. And across the board, we track it globally across our sellers, and you see about a 42% increase in revenue by those customers that use our keyword research tool, our love-hate tool, and our listing optimization tool to create listings. So, obviously some are clearly much higher, some are lower, but on average, if you're seeing that, that it shows that it works, that it's finding the right keywords, you're optimizing the listing in the right way, you're finding the right customer insights to get a better listing, right? So all critical pieces. And if you layer that in with, the kind of those creative manual ways of really connecting with customers, like the Loom video thing, you'll be amazed at the results. So let's jump over. I'm going to jump into a quick demo. And what I want to show on this is this category here, golf cooler bag, right? So I'm showing it on Amazon right now because if you're trying to improve your conversion rate, right, this is a critical piece of the Amazon algorithm, right? Is what are the basic competitors converting at, right, as a general conversion rate, and what is our conversion rate, and can we get our conversion rate better than theirs? And if we can, we're going to get more traffic, and the algorithm is going to favor us versus the competitors, right? So there's many ways to do those things, but at a high level, when I'm looking at golf cooler bag and I'm looking at all the products, why are these guys ranked in position one, right? There's a number of factors that go into that. It's actually another presentation I'm going to be doing with you, Lizette. Why are these at number one? But why are they getting the most clicks, and why are they getting the most conversions, and who is getting the most clicks and conversions, right? And so if I look you can just look at Zonguru's Chrome extension as an example. We have a bunch of data in here, but one of the interesting things we have is actually which listings are getting the most clicks and conversions this week from Amazon Brand Analytics, right? So, they give you the top three. So you can see number one is Atletico, right? Atletico is getting the most clicks right now, not necessarily the most sales, but the most clicks and conversions, right? For the traffic they're getting as a percentage. And Falcona is getting the third most. And then down here, this one here, Petrichor is getting the second most, right? So is that because of price? Is it because of what they include in their listing? Why is why is Falcona ranked in the organic #1 position, and Intech is ranked #2, but it's not getting the most clicks and conversions. And if you look at the sales estimates, Falcona is getting way more than the Intech, right? And even Atletico is getting more sales, right? So what is Intech doing incorrectly that the other ones are doing right? And we can just click on the listing to look, right? So I'm going to go here. I'll show you. This is Intech right here. Well, let's click on the #1 organic listing right now, Falcona. So I click on it and I can see right here, here's all their, oops, let me just drop this down. Here's their main image. Here's the other images. They have, benefits that are being called out in every single one of these, right? So you can talk about plenty of space for your drinks. They give the size of the actual units. They talk a little bit about, kind of the lifestyle of it and the benefits in there. And clearly in the copy, they call out the actual key benefits in the front. So they've done an okay job, right? If we look at the next one over here, which is, let's look at this guy, Atletico, right? They've actually done a pretty good job. They call it out here, a lot of benefit overlays. The product, they talk about a removable strap. They compare it to a basic competitor. They tell you how much it holds, right? So they've done a pretty good job, and they're getting the second most clicks or the best clicks and conversions right now. Now, the one that was in the middle, Intech, we can look at them. Look how obvious this is. I mean, they have actually great photos, no overlays, no benefit overlays, no sizing. They don't have any of that. They just have a bunch of images, and they have their bullets called out, and they have a few key bullets called out. But to me, the big missing thing here is that they don't, how customers buy is they look at the images and they look through the images first and they go to the content second, right? And they're missing a huge opportunity here by not including overlay images and, more importantly, the dimensions on that, right? So they're missing a trick right here. So that's what I would say, high level. Some of the insights that we could get is we could look at Loom videos, we could do the questions and answers. And then you can also go in and look at Zonguru and just go to the love-hate tool, which is under product research. You can go to love-hate. And what this tool does, and I've just run one on Golf Cooler Bag, is you enter that phrase and our technology will go out and pull together all the reviews of that category, and then create a word cloud assimilation around the positive and negative reviews in that category. So this is a smaller category. It's a niche one. It's actually a good one if you were starting a small private label brand. But you can see right here, they pulled together, 943 reviews that have positive sentiments and 190 reviews that have negative sentiments, right? And if I go and look at a high level, I can see the summaries that they're talking about here. So, I can click on any of these, like, okay, clearly, keeping the drinks cold is important. Something about the push cart, right? Which you can look at, the little cooler that comes with it. What does that look like? Perfect size, entire round. That's an interesting phrase, right? Being cold for the entire round. So there's some insights over here. And if I look at the negative ones, I can see ice melts, leaks water, cheap, quality control, so there's things about, the actual quality of the product. And so at a high level, those are some of the things that stand out. If I want to go deeper, I can exclude a few comments and exclude, which is fine. And then below, I can actually click on one of these and actually see what they're talking about, right? So if I click on, for example, let's go with pushcart, right? So click on pushcart, it calls out here, like, once it's removed, there's still a small strap that allows you to clip the cooler onto the pushcart, right? This one actually here says it doesn't really attach well to the pushcart, right? So understanding that an attachment to the actual pushcart is a critical piece. And maybe this guy understood how to do it, but this person here didn't understand how to do it properly, right? So calling that out and how to use that in your benefit overlays, or entire round, like keeping the drinks cool for an entire round. There's a few reviews that talk about that. And that's really in a golf mentality. Like, you want to have drinks that are cold for the duration of your time, right? And then obviously here you can click on, there's a return window, ice melts, leaks water, these are things that you should call out in the images. And if I go and look at these products, right? So, even Atletico, which is getting the second most, right? He talks about maximum cooler, leak resistant, see, large exterior pocket, water resistant, easy opening, removable padded strap. So, they've done a pretty good job of calling out some of those benefits. But if I looked at the one that had the most clicks and conversions, they actually didn't call it out at all, right? There's work they can do here. They talk about the space and size, but they don't really talk about, some of those key points. So just in that small exercise, there's a bunch of things there that you can do to improve your conversion rates, which is obviously critical. And that's really simple to do within our tool and get that insights, plus the other aspects that I talked about. And of course, the AI generation, which if I just show you at a high level, I think I just did one in this category. Let me just go over here. You just go to our listing optimizer tool, and we have one right here under Golf Cooler. And you can compare. I won't go into the detail of this tool because that's not the exercise right now, but you can compare how well listings are optimized and how well they score within that category. This is the number one, the Falcona, right? They get a 30,000 score. And I did an AI listing just before this, and it came out with a better score, right? So at a baseline, you're getting a better optimized listing that you can then bring those insights into and really improve to push over to Amazon and then get better conversion rates and get more traffic and improve your overall revenue of your business of up to that 42%, which I shared. So pretty interesting stuff. Not rocket science, and definitely things that even the best sellers in a category miss out on every single day that you can put into your listing and beat them.
All right. Thank you so much for this overview. Very interesting. As you said, it's not the rocket science, but it takes some time to kind of do those things and get used to having those things in the workflow. But the ones who do it are actually the ones who, in the end, sell the most products. So it's a good thing to do. And actually, in addition to your idea using the review insights for, let's say, for sponsored for advertising, it's also a good idea to use those, for example, for Amazon posts or any other tool that Amazon is now giving for brand owners, actually, where you need some kind of ideas to create some kind of content that would help customers essentially to make the purchase decision. So yeah, it's a nice tool.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And there's also in the industry itself, if you go onto Shopify websites nowadays, they actually align a lot of their UI and UX of how the page is laid out with Amazon, right? Because Amazon constantly is focused on improving the layout for shoppers to actually convert, but also more importantly, shoppers are used to that layout because that's what they go to every single day, right? So understanding that you could do similar things on your Shopify website for traffic that you drive there, and take the insights that you have from this and from the listing optimization and the AI and just recreate that on your Shopify storefronts with those keywords, with those benefits, etc., is clearly going to help help them to convert on that site, or even give them that information before driving them to Amazon. So a lot of different ways you can use it outside of just Amazon itself.
Yeah, sounds good. So you gave us a little overview of what kind of tools SundGuru offers for sellers, but is there any other tool you would like to highlight? And also maybe you let our viewers know, like what kind of seller your set of tools is kind of the best match for? Is it the beginner seller? Is it more experienced seller? Is it for all types of sellers?
Yeah, we have plans for all types of sellers, whether you're just coming on and researching or obviously selling. But in terms of what the best match is from seller feedback, mostly it's more serious sellers, bigger sellers, and the biggest difference there versus competitors is that our tools do an incredible job of doing what matters most in the most efficient way. So sellers that have a number of different listings, that have a number of different processes in their business, and they need to get the most impactful things done in the most effective way, and see those kind of improvements in conversion rates and seller rates, etc. They're the ones that love our tool, because we don't inherently focus on these shiny objects where some educator out there saying, hey, you need to look at this tiny little piece of traffic and try and optimize for this one little thing that it doesn't make a difference in your business. Like, we're very clear on what is impactful to moving the needle. So bigger sellers use our product because we do things that at the end of the day change your bottom line, which is improve conversion rate, improve revenue, etc. So we have a lot of bigger sellers and more importantly, a lot of agencies that use our platform, because agencies doing well beyond a portfolio of 200 million in annual revenue, they're choosing us because they can effectively do the big things in the best way possible, and have time to focus on other things, right? So operationally, that's the best fit for ZonGuru.
Okay, sounds really good. And we will leave all of the most important links to ZonGuru to the description of the video as well, so you can go and check and test the software out. So thanks again, John, for joining me today, for sharing your knowledge and showing us a couple of tips how Amazon sellers could use customer insights to improve their product listings and sell more products. So I hope I will see you soon again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And yeah, the links in there, you guys have a great deal for your customers. And importantly, there's a 7-day free trial on that as well, which is, not very prevalent in the industry at this point. So, at least jump in there and try a few of those things, right? Pull those insights, do a listing optimization and see what it does to your business. There's no excuse not to get in and give it a try. So I wish you all the best of luck. Sellers out there and driving your business and growing it for conversion rates, profitability, and all those good metrics.
If you want to try these strategies yourself using ZonGuru software, check the link below in the description that gives you a special discount for signing up with them for the monthly subscription. And also hit the like button, don't forget that. Because we upload a lot of different videos like this, which can be useful for you. And if you have additional questions, leave them in the comment section below. And now I recommend you to check this playlist where we have much more tutorials and videos about ZonGuru, about their tools and features. So check this out.